Hi everyone, how you doing? So look, initially I was going to essentially talk about the macroeconomic trends and work a bit of a pitch in there too, but it's late in the day and we've had a long day, so I'm actually going to kind of tell the story about how we wound up here and the things that happened along the way. So originally, we as a group were actually management consultants, and as anyone here has experience with management consulting, basically people come to you with essentially one problem, which is they want to make more money. It just manifests itself in a variety of ways. Then, once you give them advice, one of two things happens. They either ignore you because it's not what they wanted to hear, or they ignore you and do what they want anyway. So after about 5 years of this, we really got sick of it and decided that maybe we should just buy businesses and run them ourselves. So then we started looking and we thought, okay, we've got this succession trend that everyone's spoken on today. There's people who are leaving the businesses or they want to leave the businesses, they don't know how. So we started looking at what businesses we should acquire. So the big thing there then was we had to work out what industry do we want to be in for longevity and what suits our skill sets. So obviously we wanted a product business, we wanted a moat against AI so we didn't get wiped out. We also wanted a product that's kind of complex or the moat's high enough that it's not easy for competitors to jump in. We want it to be scalable, repeatable, and not a franchise. So we've had a couple of e-com businesses, we've had beauty, we've had health, we've had recruitment. But then what happened was we kind of stumbled upon the marine sector. And so we actually happened upon a business in Gladstone that we acquired. We got in there. The owner wanted to retire. We got in there. It was actually a really good business. It had great bones. It needed a bit of a turnaround. And it had all of the things we wanted. So marine sort of looks like what the motorbike sector looked like maybe 15 years ago before Team Moto rolled it up, where there's little operators, mum and pop operators everywhere. They all hate each other and never talk to each other. There's more beefs in there than rap in the 90s, like it's crazy. The first one we bought had one computer that was plugged in manually. They didn't have an email list. They didn't have a stock list. They didn't have a customer list. They didn't know what they'd sold. They basically were what I would call a vibes-based business in the sense of their profitability and strategy. So then we acquired this business and we started putting systems in place. And then as we began exploring, we realized that there's like 50 of these and they're all basically exactly the same. So then the first thing we did, of course, was set a huge audacious goal, which was let's try to do 20 of these in 24 months. As we got on and on a bit, our businesses got bigger, they got better, they got more sophisticated as we bought in, our brands got better, and we started to get a bit of momentum. The other thing we realized is that suppliers and manufacturers were really, really keen to get involved because, again, you've got these larger corporate entities, you've got Suzuki, Yamaha, guys like Telwater who own Quintrex, who are dealing with a lot of these mom and pop operators who are kind of getting sick of it, to be honest, because it's difficult for them to deal with. So we got the opportunity to partner with these guys. As we started building momentum with them, we then started getting better terms. Then opportunities came along for bigger brands, and then opportunities started opening up for areas like Southeast Asia. So if I talk about, firstly, the problems we had in the acquisition, and secondly, the progress we had. So basically, the problems we had was initially we'd buy these dealerships and we're like, look, to the owners, stick around for a couple of years if you want, you can be semi-retired, you'll have a blast, come in here 2 days a week, work on some boats, it'll be sick. But the problem we found was the owners letting go was actually the biggest challenge to the implementation of changes. Because if we got in there and we're like, look guys, we're going to put a CRM in place, we're going to put some systems in, these guys are like, well look, I didn't need a system for 45 years. So the implementation, the changeover was just hellish. So we realized that we actually need to take these businesses, get them handed over and move forward as quickly as possible. So with that, we've ended up acquiring about 6 dealerships in 8 months. We've got Central Queensland, Melbourne, Adelaide, New South Wales Coast, Quintrex, CJ, Stacer, all the brands, Yamaha, Suzuki. There's 5 more dealerships currently in negotiation. So you can see the pattern here is like a rough chronological order. So we started in Gladstone. Oh, there's a bit of a crossover, that's unfortunate. Then we went to Newcastle with a bigger dealership, then a couple in South Australia that were bigger again and had more luxury brands like Beneteau, then an even larger one in Melbourne. And as we rolled on, we basically picked up these brands, started consolidating the brands, started consolidating suppliers, and just watched the benefits compound. So it's been a long day, and you guys have heard like a million pitches today, so I'm not going to belabor our pitch on this one at all, but basically we're always looking for funding to accelerate growth, because the more funding we have, the more resources we can put in, the quicker we can roll out. And then we're looking at an exit probably in 28, 29 with either an external private equity firm or a larger company in the US. There's a couple that are doing a similar thing, or perhaps via an IPO. So I really wanted to open it up as well for if people had questions about acquiring businesses and the process they've gone through and anything we've encountered along the way, because I think that's a good way to round off the day rather than me just talking the entire time. So thanks. If I don't have any queries, then I'm going to head off to the lobby bar. See ya.